Juventus beat Salernitana away 2-0 with goals from Morata and Dybala.
Well done.
The Juve strike force, I think it's been 1,000,000 years since they both scored in a game. Does this mean all is well?
Of course not. Yeah, it was a win. But Salernitana they're really bad.
Really bad.
They're really bad. So well done to Juve for sort of bouncing back and winning. But it would have been super crisis had they not won that game or dropped points even on the draw. So just move on to the next one. But they would be far tougher opponent than that. Wild stuff at the end of the Sassuolo-Napoli game, Gab, on Wednesday night as well. Does this say more about the league leaders, more about Sassuolo, who came back from 2-0 down to make it 2-2 and then had a goal disallowed from De Vrel from a foul by Berardi that you could, I think there was a foul, but...
I think the goal was correctly disallowed. But, the goal to make it 2-2, my boy Gianmarco Ferrari, in the 89th minute.
And
before that...
Spalletti gets sent... Oh, it was so
Spalletti
much.
gets sent off. Before that, the Scamacca scoring another goal. I mean,
he's on fire.
He is absolutely on fire. I think it says more about Sassuolo because Sassuolo are a really good team. Yeah. And especially playing against other big teams who open up a little bit, don't play on the counter, they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
They showed it against Milan. That front three, Sassuolo, Berardi, and Raspadori. Scamacca, Berardi, and they're all Italian internationals for a reason. They're all young, or Berardi a little less so, but they're really, really good. I think that's really, really exciting. As for Napoli, let's not forget, a lot of injuries. Insigne, Fabian Ruiz went off.
But still,
Koulibaly went off.
2-0 up, you expect them, even away from home, you expect them to see the game out.
Yeah. Paris Saint-Germain are held at home by Nice, 0-0. And Jules, could have been worse without St. Gigio Donnarumma between the sticks.
Yeah, he made a couple of really good saves, Gab. Then Kasper Dolberg missed a huge chance and hit the post. And I was like, watching, it's like, come on, do something. Messi, I think it looked like Messi was still playing with the Ballon d'Or. And so obviously it was much slower, much weak. I don't know, Julien had a bad night. It's only when Verratti came on in the second half that something a bit happened.
When you get the right number of Italian guys on the pitch to actually win something.
Yeah, but it was so frustrating. I find it so frustrating to watch. I don't know where Poch is in his mind, if he's there, if he's at United, if he's in between, in the channel. I don't know, but I find it really frustrating. Milan bounced back emphatically from their setback at the weekend with a 3-0 win over Genoa. And how about that Junior Messiah's goal again?
Okay, but let's talk Ibra because he opened the scoring. Ibra free kick comes up. Crisis moment, conceded 7 goals in 10th minute, free kick, bish, bash, bosh, boom, done, see ya, Ibra.
Exactly.
He came off and my boy Pietro Pellegrini came on, who I'm still really excited about.
I know.
But yeah, Junior Messias, tremendous story. I told you about him before. He's the guy who spent 4 years out of football, doing construction, whatever. He's now 30 years old, and he comes back and after that goal against Atleti, does it again tonight. One of the finishes, exquisite. It's a wonderful story.
We love the stories.
Bad news for Milan, though. Simon Kjaer twisting his ankle with their defensive problems and Tomori out. That is a big setback.
Inter beat Spezia 2-0 as both teams make a bunch of changes. Gab, they continue to tick along and stay in that three-way title race.
We were talking about fatigue before. Inter, I think that they made 6 changes. They had 4 of their back 6 out, or 4 of their central defenders out.
Yeah.
But it continues. And Gagliardini
scored.
Different guy pops up. Gagliardini. When he was very young.
I was like, come on.
When he was very young, Gagliardini was
good.
Called Italy's answer to Steven Gerrard.
I know, but then he moved to Inter and that really slowed down the career. Roma lose 1-0 to Bologna and a very grumpy Mourinho suggests that Zaniolo should leave Serie A. What is he talking about? Well, you're Zaniolo. You can't leave.
It's not my Zaniolo. He's Mourinho's Zaniolo too now as well. But his point, when I say, deflect blame, let's give you another talking point. After a defeat, he basically says that Zaniolo gets kicked too much by defenders and he should go to a less physical league, maybe the Premier League. I don't know.
Gab, the European Union's Council of Sports Minister passed a resolution supporting Uefa's governance model and rejecting close competitions like the Super League. Is this just hot air or do you think it's relevant?
Well, on the one hand, it's hot air because... Yeah, it's both. It often happens, politicians, right? Yeah. Because this isn't binding, it doesn't mean anything. They're not the court that is going to decide the Super League soup that's bought by Real Madrid, Juventus, and Barcelona. However, that court, as I've said this before, is a very political court, right? They do kind of based on what is our culture. It's an antitrust lawsuit essentially, and they have to take the common good whichever way they interpret it. Yeah. And if they're continue getting this strong message from politicians that, hey, nobody wants a closed system or even a semi-open system because Florentino would say, system's not closed because because 5 of the 20 clubs can qualify. I think this is relevant, and I think it shows you. I mean, I learned from this not because I follow the Council of Sports Ministers of the European Union. I learned about it because UEFA put out a press release. Yeah. So they're very keen to send this message out. But you could also read this as that they're concerned. But obviously, this decision is going to be one of the biggest decisions to influence world football. Yeah, no question about it when it comes, if it comes. As COVID infections increase, the Bundesliga is grappling with new regional restrictions on the number of fans at each match, including this weekend's Klassiker between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern München. Jules, see what I did there?
Yeah.
I'm going all Derek Ray. Jules, what will the impact be?
Well, we've seen already restriction in stadiums capacity and the fans allowed to be there. You could have no fans. Well, you certainly have no fans in Champions League games next week, and maybe even for the Klassiker by the time the game comes. So it's, as we said, it's probably the right thing to do, of course, because there's a new wave and the new variant and all of that. It's damaging for the clubs financially, to lose all the revenues that they are going to lose if that lasts 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, however long. It's one. And you know what? I would be surprised if that doesn't extend to other countries. And
it is pretty remarkable to me how Europe is really not that big a place, right? We live in England. We go to games. The stadiums are full. Nobody's wearing a mask. There's no station. And the case rates here for months have been higher than they are in Germany now. That's what I find remarkable.
Atalanta making 4 wins in a row in Serie A, beating Venezia 4-0 and pulling 6 points clear in 4th place. Gab, hat-trick by Pasalic, by the way, one of those games. They are relentless when they're in that kind of form.
Right now they're in a machine where there's cogs in a machine. They come in, they go out.
There are players missing. I mean, they're slowly coming back, but for a long time they're
rotating. They rotated at the weekend. They rotated in this game. They rotated against Juve. It reminds me a little bit. Obviously, there are different layers here, where the collective. It's so much about the collective that the individuals, other than perhaps Ilicic, in certain games, maybe don't matter as much. Reminds me a little bit.
Manchester City. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Real Madrid win their game in hand against Atletico Madrid 1-0. Kareem may be a dream, Jules, and he did score.
Kareem the dream.
Yeah, but for the second straight game, they can thank their lucky stars, and they were outplayed. It's Saint Thibaut of Courtois,
Saint Thibaut of Courtois. Again, some huge saves, some big misses as well. Why
don't you put Courtois up for the Ballon d'Or instead of Kareem Benzema?
Well, maybe one day, who knows? As you know, it's very difficult to win the Ballon d'Or as a goalkeeper. Only one has ever done it. But it was, I guess, in a way, I know it's the cliche again, but it's those kind of wins that take you to the title. If you're Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti, because you're second best, you're beaten in a lot of parts in this game. You get a lucky goal because Modric is a shot and not an assist for Karim Benzema. He's just lucky to be onside even. But it's an easy game. I think this is the most XG against them, Real Madrid, that they had all season in all competition.
I think this is a game where maybe he should have gone more for fresh legs.
Maybe,
I don't know, but it's frustrating because you had 2 good performances in a row. You had the Sevilla game, which I gave him a pass, and I said, well, Sevilla were actually really, really good. More than Madrid were bad. Last night, not good.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.